Hello everybody, the Great Dino Ranger here again, back with another review. Moving away from Jurassic, we're going to jump right into Godzilla, and we're going to take a look at the Playmates Godzilla Kong The New Empire Drownviper. So this is one of the newer creatures that were shown in that the most recent MonsterVerse film. This is like the eel looking snake-like creature that Kong fought after Zuko lured Kong into the lake to try to kill him. Really cool scene. Obviously, the Drownviper never stood a chance against Kong. Kong, he's smart, so he's smart enough to work his way throughout any problem, with or without Godzilla. But really cool to have another new figure of a new creature from Playmates. I was not expecting the Drownviper to be made into a figure, so this was a very big surprise to me. I thought Playmates was just going to focus on more of the centerpiece monsters in the film, so that's really awesome. And with One Eye, which we're going to view next, I'm just hoping, eventually we're going to get the wart dogs that we saw in the beginning of this film. And I'm really hoping that we're going to get a Scylla. I'm pretty sure if Playmates can give us these serpent-looking figures, I'm pretty sure they can give us a spider-looking figure. But hopefully we'll get something like that later on. But yeah, really cool looking figure, and actually it's a very hefty figure because you can actually feel it in the box. This thing is just like solid plastic, but it has like a really hefty feel to it. It's kind of like the actual Kong figure itself. But packaging wise, we got the typical Godzilla Kong The New Empire packaging. I know there's like a new packaging out for like just the plain MonsterVerse line. Haven't found any of those yet, but this will do. Pretty much the same thing. You got Godzilla and Kong. Godzilla and Kong, the Drownviper, Playmates, all the other stuff. So pretty much the same packaging that we've gotten previously. And here in the back, just a cool little picture render of the figure. Fully posable and removable head. So that's obviously awesome because its head was cut off from Kong in the film. And up here you got a little bio that says Drownviper, beware hollow earth's lagoons, or prepare to be ambushed by the savage serpentine Drownviper, capable of crushing construction and jaw-droppingly intense bite force. So yeah, that's really cool, kind of showing you just how powerful this little water animal is. Really cool though. It did give Kong a fair fight, but it just wasn't strong enough to fully defeat Kong. And you got the other figures in the lineup. We already have Tiamat, and we already have One Eye. Wasn't really too interested in Godzilla Energized. This is just a repaint. Wasn't too interested in Kong's battle axe since I already have the one with the axe from Godzilla vs. Kong. Then we have these two, the real feel Kong and the real feel Godzilla. Have no idea what these would be in person. I'm more interested in Godzilla, but I won't be upset if I never got it. It's more like if I see it, it kind of depends on what it looks like in person before I actually choose to get it. But anyway, that's really cool there. So let's go ahead and open this figure up. Alrighty, so here we have the Drownviper out of the packaging. So surprisingly, there were no assembly required when taking this figure out. It's all fully assembled. And I gotta say, taking a look at this figure in hand, this thing is just flat out awesome. This is probably one of Playmates' best MonsterVerse figures they've put out. I mean, it's just, there's so much about it that it's so good. The size of it is good. The amount of articulation within all of these little joints, because every single part of this serpent creature is like divided into like different segments of the body, and each one has a different array of poseabilities, like all in a ball joint. So you can literally get some really nice poses, it's just amazing for a snake-like creature in an action figure form. I mean, this is definitely one of Playmates' best figures they've done for their MonsterVerse. And the material feels really nice too. It doesn't feel necessarily as, I guess, cheap-like as some of the other figures do. Some of them kind of feel like they're really hollow on the inside. And I mean, I know these are more toys and not like high collectible figures like SH Monster Arts or NECA, but still, these figures are still like awesome for just being $10. Like, that is amazing. So yeah, the material, the plastic just feels really sturdy. It feels really like thick solid slabs of plastic. This is actually reminding me of the Kong with the Beast Glove figure for this lineup, where it just feels like a really hefty figure. not like the previous Kong figures that we got for Godzilla versus Kong. Like it's so cool. I really love the way this is turning out to be right now. So yeah, the Drownviper, I think it was a really unique creature shown in the movie. I'm pretty certain this isn't a Titan, just like one of those like super species that don't like have any superpowers of any sort. They're just kind of like one of the giant animals just kind of living its life down in the hollow earth. And this thing is like a giant eel, fish, snake thing. Actually, I think more of like an eel when I think of this thing or see it in the film. Just the way the kind of the skin is kind of looking, and the fins and the face. It's more fish-like, so it's more eel-like to me than a snake. But still, I think it was really cool. New creature added to the Monsterverse. And obviously this thing didn't survive very long. Kong easily beat it, but overall, a really nice and solid figure. I love the paint job on it. It's so cool. It's like, it's basic, but it works so well for like a water animal. You got like this really beautiful shade of blue for the entire body, and then a light underbelly color, which actually goes all the way to the tail. We didn't really get that with even Tiamat, and we'll do comparisons later on, but I can tell you, like, the quality on this Drownviper is amazing, and I hope Playmates continues to give us more quality kind of like this. I'll buy their figures regardless, but having quality like this is like a huge plus, a huge bonus, in my opinion. So, but yeah, I like the complete colors or paint that's applied to this figure, and then the yellow stripes on both sides of the body just contrast very well with the blue and the white color. It just looks really nice. The eye is also yellow with like a black pupil, and the way it looks, the pupil is like super large, where it's just like a thin ring of the yellow around it. It's very fish-like, in my opinion. It's giving me like fish vibes. Just look at that. That's like a scary fish when it like looks at you. So it's very fish-like. I really like that look. And the teeth, I mean, they could have been sharper, but obviously it's a toy. You don't want it to be necessarily sharp for kids, but they actually are not too bad, in my opinion. I really like them a lot, and I like how the shade, well, actually no, the shade might be the same as the shade for the underbelly, or it might be different. I think it might be different. And then you got like this pink fleshy color for like the tongue, and on the underside, I like how it's kind of bleeding out a little bit because it looks like gums. The teeth are sticking out of the gums. I like that look for it. And you got a little bit like this blue around the chin area, which looks really nice as well. But in terms of paint, that's really pretty much it. But it works. It's all you ever needed, because it's basically the exact color palette as the Drownviper from the film. And yeah, and then detail-wise, the detail is great. So this guy isn't 100% movie accurate to what it looked like on screen. That a lot of these figures are more based off of like early designs and concept art. Every toy line does that, I feel like, and sometimes it annoys me, sometimes it really doesn't. It doesn't really annoy me on this one because it looks pretty close to how it did in the film regardless. Like, obviously the tongue should be covered in teeth, because that the tongue that the Drownviper had in the film was covered in teeth, which was a really weird thing to have. Then the eyes should actually be more back here, kind of more lower towards the lower jaw, kind of like what you see on a whale, like a blue whale. And obviously it's more up on the skull on this one. Everything else seems pretty spot on. You got the nice fish-like fins that pretty much go all the way down. They're more fin-like here at the top of the head, and goes down to about here. Then they just kind of look like generic spines. And then you got like a cool little fin tail at the end of the creature right here, which actually looks really good. I like the amount of detail that's on it, the sculpt work, and then the entire sculpt work on the body is really nice. You got like these cool lines sculpted in that pretty much go throughout the entire underbelly as well. And then you even got some like these little bumps or scales or whatever you call them in the skin that kind of continue from the side, and it goes pretty much all the way down to the tip of the tail. So really nice detail. You got some little lined you got some lines sculpted in between the fins or the spines right here, so within like the little skin membrane area, which is really cool. And the head is really nice to sculpt it too, with a lot of nice detail in the skin, very fish-like. I keep on saying that. but just nice amount of detail, I would say. And yeah, I really love the detail on this thing. It's definitely one of my favorites that Playmates has given us from the Monsterverse toy line. Now, I don't know what this little divot is right here. I don't think it's gills or anything. I don't know if it's like damage, like in terms of the figure, not just like or there's like damage in terms of like the character, not just like the figure itself. But it even has it on this side. Though this one looks a bit different, like a chunk has been ripped out and there's like some scratches right there, because it's definitely a lot different than over here. This one's a lot smaller, so I don't know what that's supposed to be, but it's very interesting to see that. But yeah, a lot of beautiful detail on this Drownviper. Now, articulation is kind of like where this figure shines. I mean, not only does its detail and paint job are very striking and very eye-catching, but the articulation is amazing, and this one's even a step up from Tiamat, in my opinion, just a little bit. Tiamat had really great articulation, and the Drownviper just has probably a bit more, in my opinion. So you got the jaw that can open and close, very typical. The head here is on a ball joint, so it can go up and down, left and right, and swivel. And then each segment of the body, all the way to the tail, is its own joint, and they're all on a ball joint. So this part right here, ball joint, left, right, up and down, and it can twist, and all of them are like that. See this one as well, and then this one, and you got this one as well, and then the last one here at the tail. So this thing is like super articulated. The packaging was not lying. It's really fully posable. Let's see, how many segments are there? There's, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like 6 different pieces of articulation here in the body, including the head. And if you match up everything, if you line everything up, it's going to be like in this crouching position, kind of like what it was like in the film, but when Kong first sees it before it strikes at him, which is actually really good for display. But you can stretch it out, and it's actually a really long figure. It's a really long figure. It's actually much longer than Tiamat, which is crazy. But you can get it in a lot of cool poses too. Like, you can make it like literally wrap around. Like, that is so cool. Look at that. I always wondered as a kid, like, how would articulation work for a serpent creature like this? And then now, like years later, and I'm an adult, and we get figures like these, and it's just like, wow, these are so cool. The amount of poseability you can get in pictures, the possibilities are endless. Like, you can just get a lot of great poseability with this one. So I really do like this a lot. We'll go ahead and do some comparisons. We're gonna compare it with Tiamat. This is the only other pretty much serpent creature we have. We have the Warbat, but that one, unfortunately, it's not very good. I mean, I like having it because it's a really cool animal, a really cool creature in the Monsterverse, but the Warbat needs a new figure ASAP. It needs these joints applied to its serpent-like body. It really needs an updated figure, so hopefully Playmates will do that, not just a stationary statue of a figure that ends up getting warped over time, because mine's like warping. It's like leaning to the side. Anyways, back to Tiamat. This is the other cool serpent creature that we have. I really liked Tiamat in the film, and this figure is really awesome because you got a lot of nice segments filled with each like different ball joints, so you can get a lot of cool wrapping around poses, like wrapping around Godzilla. But interesting enough, the Drownviper is like, it's flipping huge. It's bigger than Tiamat. See, this is like Tiamat as far as you can get it when stretching her out, and then the Drownviper, at least to the best of my ability, is much longer than Tiamat. It is incredibly long. Like, see, you can see right there. It is super long, and I don't even think this is supposed to be accurate. Now, yes, a lot of Playmates' figures aren't necessarily accurate to scale most of the time. There are some things that still need to be fixed, like Shimo should be bigger, King Ghidorah should definitely be bigger, and I feel like Tiamat should be this size, whereas the Drownviper should be this size. I mean, that's how it looks like in the film, because Kong and Godzilla, they're roughly almost like the same height, kind of. I think Godzilla's just a tad a bit taller, obviously longer in terms of length, but I don't know, I just feel like that maybe these two should have been maybe, I don't know, similar in size in terms of figures. Tiamat in real life should have been much bigger than the Drownviper. And I kind of wish maybe Tiamat was had a bit more segments to have her a bit more longer. That's just me though. But really cool comparison though. I really do like these figures a lot. In terms of a character, I like Tiamat more, but in terms of like figure and maybe just articulation and poseability, I think the Drownviper definitely blows Tiamat out of the water. But that's just me. And then lastly, we'll compare it to Kong, because obviously the Drownviper was fighting Kong, and they actually work pretty nicely together, I would say. I think maybe the Drownviper should have been a tad bit smaller, or at least a lot more thinner, because this one's actually pretty massive. It's a massive sea creature, especially compared to a human. But yeah, these compare very nicely with each other. And it did say the head can come off. So there it goes. The head can come off, which is very typical. It's basically the same as Tiamat. Actually, every single body part of like Tiamat, every single segment is detachable. So you can take it apart and have her be like in a billion pieces, like what Godzilla did when he basically killed her with his atomic breath. So yeah, the head can come out just like in the film. That's super awesome. And actually every single joint here, every single body piece is detachable, which is pretty cool. So you can make it look like the Kong's eating it just like in the film, and share it with Suko. And it can apply very easy like that. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say for this Drownviper. Final thoughts, I really love this figure. The paint is beautiful on it. I love the sculpt. The articulation is amazing. So if you are a fan of the Monsterverse or Playmates or just these Godzilla figures in general, or anything like that, just I highly recommend this figure. This figure is just amazing, and you have to see it for yourself in order for me to actually prove it, because I don't think you can get everything that I'm saying just by watching this video. Like, I think you have to see it and touch it, you know, in person to really get a good feel of this figure. It's such an awesome one. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys again for the next video.